We're pretty excited, and I think you guys are too. And we switched it up a bit today. So we're going to end with the networking mixer because it is a celebration tonight. The person that we've asked, that we've persistently requested that comes and engages with startups at first hand is somebody that, together with the team, they formed a ministry, the small business ministry. And in essence, what we're trying to achieve with it, we said, okay, yeah, let's celebrate, let's get together. But let's also take the opportunity to make sure that the ministry kind of understands what the entrepreneurs, the guys on the ground, what are their challenges and what are the plans of the ministry moving forward and how can we engage and make sure that there's success in this country. I would like to introduce the Honourable Ms. Lindiwe Zulu, the Small Business Ministry.
Thank you very much. I think I can feel the pulse from where I'm standing. And I think I can feel the pulse because I think this is the future. You guys are there. You are the future. You are where I was, let's say, 30 years ago or so. And I think that this opportunity that is being presented here, and I must thank you for the invitation, and they haunted me. You know, they called every day, every hour to get me here. But it wasn't difficult for me to get here because when I read about what you were doing, it just made me feel like I've got to be there. The world is not waiting for us, South Africa. The world used to be at our feet all the time when we were struggling and trying to create this South Africa that I see today. We had from America to Nigeria to Senegal to wherever corner of the world, we had people asking us. For me, a member of the African National Congress, of course, they were saying, ANC, tell us what we can do for you. But now, those people that used to do that, they have problems of their own. The world is in a different space altogether to the world that I knew in 1976, 86, 96, and so forth. They're now saying, South Africa, 20 years down the line, you are no longer a baby anymore. We need to see you running. And we need to wake up to that reality, that the world is not waiting for us. Somebody here said that when the world is in a chaos, that's the opportunity that you guys need to take. You need to look out and see where that chaos is. And therefore, what opportunities exist there. If we can just get it straight, for real, the world is now competing with us. When you go to the African continent with your business, I see this, you guys are saying you want to make sure that this goes to the entire continent, you will find competition. They're not going to say to you, by the way, we know you were oppressed, we know we need to nurse you. They haven't got time for that anymore. All they want is to compete with you. Your products which you want to sell next door to Botswana, Lesotho, Swaziland, you've got India, Brazil, and other countries coming to the same spot looking for the same business. So if you're not going to wake up and take opportunities that are presenting themselves, you're going to find yourselves left out. Where I stand, with the generation that I struggled with, we have something that nobody can ever take away from us. We liberated this country. And we don't say so because we're asking for people to feel pity, feel sorry, or feel like you are obliged. You're not obliged to us. We want you to enjoy the freedom that we fought for. Now, I'm a grandmother now. I don't know what will you tell your children when you become grandmothers. Because I can tell my grandchildren that I spent almost 16 years of my life moving from one place to the next, learning how to shoot, learning how to make a bomb, learning how to do this, but also combining it with education. I studied in Moscow for 6 years. You can imagine the cold, minus 25 degrees, 6 years. But I did that because the African National Congress taught me one thing. South Africa will be liberated one day. When South Africa is free it's not going to eat your AK. When South Africa is free, it's going to need all the good brains, educated people, people that can take the world and take South Africa forward. Now you have it. It's up to you. It's either you let it go or you make it work, like she says. She was here, she was among the first. She's the baby of this initiative, and I'm sure that she's going to go very, very far. And the people that were pitching here, some were good. Well, by the way, guys, I didn't get the SMS, and so I couldn't vote. I would have, maybe I can still be given the opportunity to vote. I'd love to vote. Now, we are in a different space altogether right now. The liberation struggle, as in the liberation and making South Africa a democratic country, is gone now. But there is another struggle that we have to take care of, and that's the struggle of economic empowerment. The African National Congress has said it so many times now that this is the second phase of our struggle. There's the struggle that we believe you are the people that can benefit more from it, because we still have to carry that struggle of ensuring that we create strong institutions that can be able to support you. Small business, cooperatives, entrepreneurial, everything in South Africa, you have it. I've traveled more than 40 countries of the African continent, and I can guarantee you, a lot of the people that are there in the continent that are trying to make a living do not have this institutional recourse that you guys have. They have very little that they can go to. The banks are not the same as the banks are here. The institutions of governance and so forth are not the same. Ours are very strong institutions, so you have institutional recourse. But having said that, you have institutional recourse, you need to take advantage of it. Because when I look at the statistics and see how much of small and medium enterprises are thriving under very difficult conditions in the African continent, don't go far. Just go to Mozambique, just go to Angola, just go next door. Just go to Lesotho, just go to Botswana, and see what is happening there. You will find that South Africa is lacking way behind. That is the reason why the government, the African National Congress, decided, let us have a ministry that is focused, a ministry that will pay full attention. It's not to say nothing has been done. There's a lot that has been done by the Department of Trade and Industry, by the Department of Economic Development. Actually, I was thinking yesterday that many of the people who are beneficiaries of the programs of DTI and economic development are not raising their hands, are not raising their voices out to say, like she's been saying, I am a beneficiary. Just yesterday, I was told that there are some people who are very serious designers who've pitched up in New York, pitched up in London, pitched up in different places. I learned yesterday that some of them have been supported by this government. They've been supported by DTI, they've been supported by economic development. What is it that makes people not to want to say, here I am, I'm proud of where I am because it is this government that has made it possible for me to do this? These are the questions that we need to ask ourselves, and I didn't come here to be political tonight, but politics is what will either make us or break us. So we all have to be motivated to understanding the political environment in which we are living in. Now, the first thing that I did when I was appointed, I thought, oh my God, there goes my Paris trip, there goes my London trip, there goes my Nigeria trip, because I've been doing international relations all the time. I was completely shifted from one end to the other. But you know what? I just told myself it's a job that needs to be done. And when I looked at the need, and I listened to the voices that were coming out saying, we need this, I thought to myself, forget about those. Just focus on what the challenge is in front of us. And believe me, our department is now in existence. It has an address, it has an email, it has people. We are at the DTI. We decided it's best for us to be in the DTI because we thought if we started looking for offices, it's going to take us too long, and yet people want our service. This is an area of day-to-day life. This is an area which cannot afford any vacuum. We therefore decided, okay, those units that have been there under DTI must continue to work, must continue to give the service until such time that we have configured our department. And configuring of the department is not going to take us very long because, again, as I say, we started with an advantage that something had been done already. Now, this is what we would like to do. We would like to take advantage of such opportunities to speak to you and tell you exactly where we are and what our intentions are. In my days, when we were in the struggle, we had a liberation doi-doi. Now, I would like you guys to start an economic doi-doi. And the economic doi-doi is something that, because the doi-doi is, where it started not with a negative energy. It started with an energy that says we're going to heat ourselves up in order to be able to confront the enemy. Whether we are in marches, no, not the ones that are happening now, where people think that they have the right to march and destroy and kick people on the streets and take the products of people and throw them around, including youngsters, students. What I saw during the week was just pathetic. And it's our responsibility to make sure that that doesn't happen. Because the women who are sitting out there selling the little that they have to pay the school fees of the very same people who were kicking them, who were stealing things from them and running. So we need to change that around. Now, the economic doi-doi has to be different in the sense that the doi-doi that we did, the environment was very different. We were fighting to create a South Africa that is democratic, non-sexist, and a society that allows and gives opportunity to give everybody an opportunity to grow. Now, that doi-doi has been started by you guys. The people that I see here are people that are saying, yes, government, you have to fulfill, you have to deliver on what you have promised us. But however, we also know that we have a capacity, we have it in us as entrepreneurs. We're looking for opportunities wherever they present themselves in order for us to grow the economy. The figures that are being branded around about the importance of small and medium enterprises and cooperatives and entrepreneurs is that by 2030, as you look at the National Development Plan, it gives you the figures. In fact, it lifts up small and medium enterprises as the future. Now, when I come to a platform like this, I realize that this is where the hookup needs to happen with my department. So I also came here to hook up. And the hooking up for me is just sitting here and listening to people saying, this is who I am, this is where I've started, and this is where I want to go. My responsibility then comes here that through this initiative and a whole range of other initiatives, I need to partner with them to say, in order to assist you in what you are doing from a government side, what is it that we need to do? We are established to assist and upscale small and medium enterprises. It's not to say we've got a whole bag of money sitting somewhere. It's beyond that. It's more than that. The little money that we have, we need to use it maximally to support people who've already started doing something for themselves. If people are going to sit somewhere and think that we're going to go out and dig them out there, they have a long time to wait. What we are about is, one, let us create a conducive legal and regulatory environment, which therefore means the legislation that is there now, the regulations that are there now, we need to now focus in looking at that legislation and saying, is it conducive for you guys to do your projects or your businesses? If it is not, what is it that needs to change? And the only way we can be able to do that is to come here and have this conversation and get the team that's really working on this, have a separate discussion to say, can we at another platform call you guys so that you can say to us, this legislation and this legislation and this regulation is not working for us. Can we change it? What is it that we can do? Compliance is important, of course, because we don't want to create a country of anarchy where people can think that they can do anything that they want to do. The legislation has to be there. The regulation has to be there, because if you look into the future, we can only do that if we organize ourselves. Of course, we are spared by our government, our organization, the African National Congress, which then took a decision after many people came knocking on the doors to say, hey, ANC, you don't really seem to understand the capacity and the possibility of the contribution that can be made by small and medium enterprises into the economy. They also knocked on the door and said, look, you also seem to forget the fact that the majority of our people, black people in particular, did not have this opportunity, did not have this spirit of entrepreneurship. It's not something that is embedded in us because you start with it from school. Our responsibility is even to go to the Minister of Education, both Minister of Higher Education and the other minister, to say, what is it that we can do to make sure that this spirit is inculcated into our people as they grow? It mustn't be something that happens because somewhere along the line people are thinking, I've got nothing else to do, maybe I should do this. It should be something that as you are about to finish your school or as you are about to finish your university, you say, I'm not going to go and work for anybody. Here is an example. I have children, and all of them have been looking at me and saying, Mama, this thing, you're slugging it out like that, and we're trying to see what you have got to show for it. And I say to them, I've got a lot to show for it. Never only measure it by the money that I have in the bank or the house that I live in. You can measure it in different ways, but they are still not convinced. No. They are saying, no, in order for us in the future to be anything, we've got to work for ourselves, we've got to make the money. My first daughter runs her own salon. When she said she wanted to sell hair, I thought, what's your story? Where are you going to get with this hair story? She says, wait and see. She's got her own salon. She runs her own salon. My second daughter is a fashion designer. You can see none of them went anywhere near what I did. The second one is a fashion designer. She's running her own businesses. And the third one is only 22 years old. He's very much in the business. He's very clear, very focused, very much. He's building his first house at the age of 22. Bought himself a plot, building himself a house, saves, and he's a miser. In the house, he's called the miser. Money doesn't come out easily from my son, not even for me. Now, the reason why I'm raising this is because when I said to you, I feel the pulse, that pulse for me is about what we as government need to support. It's about us as government talking to you guys, because one thing I know, it will not work unless we have this conversation. And this conversation, why I say we need to partner with, is simply because, one, I've said to you, the world is not waiting for us. We need to do things for ourselves now. We need to get up, step up, and make sure we do things for ourselves. Secondly, I also think that there's a lot of activities that are happening. There's a lot of things that are going on. But unfortunately, those things that are going on are not connecting to each other in such a way that those that are not in your space can also see that there are young people who are out there who are stepping up and doing things for themselves. So there is this need for us to be able to communicate, and I'm happy that this is being taken to the rest of the provinces, including the provinces which are not in the same as in Gauteng. So we need to find a platform and a plan where we can motivate others. Also, I think that it's important for us to do this because we need to partner with business. I think we've allowed business to get away with murder. What we have done is we liberated the country. Then we kind of like said, you know, we don't want to see the Mozambique situation where these people who were there ran away, And because we are in South Africa, what do you call it? A special type, yeah. We're a special type. We had people who had colonized us living with us. So we needed to keep the balance, thanks to Tata Madiba and the rest of them. We needed to keep the balance. Now, the understanding by big business must be this. Government cannot remain a buffer between them and poor people. It cannot work. This country is a country that's our country altogether. And I think that if business was to do what is happening here and partner with us and partner with yourselves, they would even have better sleep. Because I always make this. I say, I live in Sandton. There's Alex on this side. If business that side thinks that somebody must keep on going to Alex and saying, no, you just keep it there. We are going to come. We're going to sort things out. It's not going to work. That thing of sorting what is happening in Alex or in any other township for that matter cannot be a responsibility of government alone. Government must not run away from its responsibility. It must fulfill its responsibility. But at the end of the day, when we were struggling to liberate this country, we collectively worked with each other, with very few white people in between there. But now the future is about this. We need to find each other. We need to work with each other. We must take responsibility of ensuring that this country goes forward. And therefore, when I say business must not think that forever government will be a buffer between them and poor people, I mean it. Because sooner than later, when black people begin to look around and realize that they're not moving anywhere, it might be okay for some people to keep on saying, yeah, you're not moving because government is not doing this. You're not moving because government is not doing this. One day they're going to wake up and realize that as black people, we're being pushed in that corner. We're busy scratching ourselves on our faces while some people go smiling to the bank. Now, if we can just have that understanding that it's our responsibility collectively as South Africa to turn things around, then I think the future for this country is going to go very far away. Let me just give you then the mandate for my department so that I don't bore you. Our key mandate is to enhance support to small businesses, informal business and cooperatives, with emphasis on programs that would advance entrepreneurship among women, youth, people with disability, to effectively contribute to job creation, economic growth, and economic inclusion. And that economic inclusion is the key. So when we talk to business, we say to them, it's not about you feeling like, okay, we've done this little thing here, you must be satisfied. They need to go way, way further than that. BEE is there. We've seen the good side of it, but we've also seen the bad side of it. We've seen BEE being abused by those people who think, no, in order for me to have a BEE, somebody, I must just find a black partner. And government has seen this because many a times people come to pitch, present for tenders and all. They walk into the room, they have a few black people, and then the black people introduce and talk the right politics, and they, can we please hand over to these ones to make the presentation? Now we can't have that anymore. It has to stop. And the only way it can stop is, one, by ourselves as black people not allowing ourselves to get into that space, because we must also wake up to this reality. We must also understand that the system that oppressed us, and I'm looking at this now from a small and medium enterprise, and I'm saying to myself, yes, it is true. We were oppressed, we were left out, we just didn't get those opportunities. There are people that are 300 years ahead of us. But there's something that you cannot take away. Those white people who had small and medium enterprises, they slugged it out. Small little businesses that were there. Yes, I agree. The government created conducive environment for them. But if you can go out and look at it, you'll find small families who decided that they were going to work hard, who decided they were not going to buy fancy cars, they were not going to buy fancy houses, they were going to save. Save is the enemy of us. We don't save. We don't have that culture of saving. We need to learn from those that slugged it out. We need to learn from those that started their businesses small and grew it up into something big. In particular, to make sure that we implement and we focus on small and medium enterprises and make sure that those who have started, they survive. How do you make sure that people who started small, they survive? The support systems that you can get from the department, that you can also get from the Department of Trade and Industry, the incubation programs, you can get that. There's quite a number of programs that are there that you must just go out and get and make sure that you hold us accountable at the end of the day. But all I can say to you is, no matter how much we can have those programs that I'm talking about, if we don't get people, particularly young people, who want to do things for themselves, who want to make sure that in 30 years' time, who want to make sure that when they retire, they're not going to be relying on their legal retirement money that our grandparents and our mothers are relying on. So you need to go out there and find out from us what is it that we can do for you. And I cannot promise that we will do everything for everybody because it's not possible. That's why I'm saying that if we were to partner with those that have already done it, if we partner with big business, if big business understands that it's in their interest to make sure that there's more and more people who have jobs, then I think we can go very far. We will focus, of course, we're going to take all the programs that are there, that were there under DTI, we're going to house those projects, and once we've configured our department, we're also going to go out now on a road show that just clearly says, let's communicate with you so that you know where we are and you know exactly what you can get from us. We are new. We want to be a lean, mean machine that can be able to deliver on our promises. It's not going to be easy, but I think what I know we're going to do is to already work on something that is already there. It's not like we are starting from scratch. Something has been done. We just need to work on something that has been done. And I would like, in conclusion, to wish these guys the best. But more than anything else, I'd like to wish you all who are here, because you are the entrepreneurs. That's where the heartbeat is. I'd like to wish you all good luck in whatever you do. And I know that doing business is not very easy, it's difficult. I'm learning because now I'm starting a new department and I'm saying to myself, if I'm struggling the way I'm struggling, I can't imagine what's happening to somebody who's starting a business. I have an advantage. There's an institution, there is a budget, there is human resource, that's got everything. And the majority of people who are starting their businesses don't have the same. But I can feel the sense of the challenges that young people in particular have. Thank you very much.